3 bald spots in my head.
Do you really?
Yeah, and they just came, it was tail end of when I was nursing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
Let's show everybody your imperfections.
No, I'm not showing them because I have to find them.
We're
they're
live,
there.
you know.
Oh, okay. Hi. I was talking about my bald spots.
Because I was talking about my calyx. Okay.
We could show them up close. Pull your hair back.
Okay.
Anybody on with us?
We've got 4 people watching.
Okay, good morning. It is gorgeous here today. I don't know where you guys are that's watching, but it is beautiful here.
Hi,
yes,
Kendra.
Gorgeous.
We got Len and Kendra. Carol, of course, Carol. Faithful old Carol. Bet McNabb. Good morning.
They're all faithful.
They are. We have a lot of return viewers, don't we?
We do.
Natalie. Okay, so we're going to start right off because I might have to take off midstream. I can't call her a little lady. Somebody growled at me for calling her. I take care of my little old lady. I'm going to... Anyway, I might have to leave because I have to go help with Laura. Hi, Laura.
How is Laura watching this and driving here?
She's at the Irving waiting for me.
Oh, okay. That explains it. Okay, so we're going to start with a demo. And then we're going to talk about the sew along a little bit. And then I'm just going to show some things about the calico thing. So today we're going to demo
a new ruler that I found while I was sitting at the airport.
Yes, she did. So it's called the Slide and Trim Hexagon Log Cabin.
And I'm going to make the block.
So when you open the package, I'm just going to show you what the pieces that's in it. So there is the center part that gives you your hexagon shape to start with. And seam allowance is built in, so you don't have to cut extra or anything. And this is the part that's called the slide and trim part.
Looks interesting, doesn't it?
And this is a little template because you're going to end up with a hexagon at the end of this procedure. Yes. But if you wanted to make it
a square
into a square, this is your template that you can cut your corner pieces for.
I think if I was going to use that, I would make a plastic template.
I would too. This is just
or
some of that nice stuff you have.
Or if you're going to use that paper template, go along and trace in a 1/4 of an inch seam. Draw in a 1/4 inch margin so that when you put your ruler on there, your ruler's going on the 1/4 inch line.
Not on the edge of the template. Yeah.
So if you're going to use the paper templates, make sure you draw a 1/4 inch line on them.
So now there's directions on the back of this piece. Don't panic when you look at it because like when I looked at it, I was like, oh my word, look at all those numbers. That's very, very confusing, but it's simple. You don't even need this paper.
Because Twyla knows how to do it.
Well, not really, but you know, it's not as complicated as that paper made it look.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's show them your block from yesterday.
So the thing is, this hexagon, you can make it so that it has up to 5 layers around it. Or you can stop anywhere in between, like if you just want 3 layers or whatever. So I got lazy.
She got lazy. She only did 3.
I only did 3. So there's 3. Oh, the butterfly's upside down. There's 3 layers, and see this the corners.
We just put it in this white just so it would
show up,
not
or
that it goes
show
with it.
you like that you could do these blocks with lattice around them as quilt blocks. But here's your template piece, the paper template piece to make your corners.
Yes.
So this size would be like a cute mug rug or whatever. I think when you get your next 2 rounds with 5 and get your corners on it, they would be the perfect size for placemats, especially like if you put a border around them if you needed it a bit
Or they
bigger.
would make nice purse fronts.
Oh, they would.
Wouldn't that make a nice purse front?
That would.
You should do that, Twyla.
Yes, you should. And this part, even without the templates, would be a cute pot holder.
It would.
Right? And think of the possibilities.
Oh, I know.
Like Christmas. But, you know, you could...
Seasonal placemats
or mug rugs. You could even do almost a pineapple feel. Do you know what I mean? With your different colors going up instead of green all the way around. You could do it in layers.
All the way around.
It could be. Use up your scraps. Like this would be... You could do so much with this.
And you cut your strips 1 1/2.
And you can also, without the corners, you can sew your blocks together in a quilt as just like you would a hexie.
You would have Y seams.
Right?
We can show you how to do Y seams someday.
Yeah, but you could do like a hexie quilt if you wanted to.
Yeah, there's so many.
And if you didn't want your colors buttoned up against each other in the hexie, your last layer could be
white
or a background color. Right?
Exactly.
Are they asking any questions? because we're talking a mile a
Wendy
minute.
says, I would like to see another one you do made into a bag. There
Yes,
you go.
yes, Wendy. Yes, Wendy. I'll get right on that. She's being a smarty pants.
I can't imagine Wendy being a smarty pants.
I know.
She's nothing.
There's a story behind this.
She's nothing but a good cook.
Okay.
I shouldn't say that. She's not nothing but a good cook.
No, that was Wendy Levo.
Oh.
And there's a story behind that because she was here yesterday while I was doing the block.
Oh, right.
So Deb is going to do it out of this combo.
Yes, that's a new gingham field line that came in.
So your first piece, all you need is a 5-inch square. You can either fussy cut it if you want to, which is sort of what I did with the butterfly, right? Tried to somewhat center the butterfly.
It's nice because it's see-through, so you can do
Yeah.
that.
So you're going to start with that, and you either trace it or you just use your rotary cutter and cut around it. I need to take the gadget. Okay, guys, I might make you dizzy doing this.
Do you want some help?
I might need some help, or I might have them accidentally turned off. Okay, here we go. Okay.
So you're going to hold that and tell me what to do? We didn't think this out well, did we? We should have had that sitting up on something like we did it.
Okay, so. Yeah, we weren't thinking, were we?
But we can find a
So
place
what
to
color
sit
are you putting here? You need to lay those out and show them like what order after you get that cut that you think you're going to...
I think I'm going to go the lightest first. That was what my plan was.
Well, you decide. It's your block.
I was going to think
So
about
your
doing
strips
it.
are 1.5 inches, ladies. And to do the first 3 rounds like I did in my block, with the fabric strip, we'll do those first... Of each color, we'll do the first 3 rounds.
If you don't mess up.
Right. And
so I'm just going to lay that down, right, Twyla?
Oops, I got to move the stand because it's right in the field.
And I have to extend a little bit.
Hang on. So you're going to lay it down. Now, one thing you can do is if you find that the weight of your strip is driving you crazy, you could just make a little cut here. As long as you're past your end piece, right? So you're just going to stitch and stop. Now you're going to iron.
And you know what I think about ironing.
So you iron away from the
center. I did that.
Okay. So now you're going to lay that down, and we're going to take this sucker. Now,
there's a right and wrong way.
There is a right and wrong way, and I discovered after I did it all day yesterday, I had done it the wrong way.
What?
I had. I rewatched the video. That won't surprise anybody. So, you always cut on your left side first. So just look.
Okay, I'm looking.
See this? I want to put this where they can see the lines. See this first line?
Oh.
That's going to, you're going to put that on there. I don't know if you can see it on the white.
Yeah.
And you're going to line that up so that it's a continuation of this side of the block.
Ooh.
Right? And then trim down the other side. And did you match up your seam line?
No. What seam line?
So there's a line on the bottom of the ruler.
It's close enough.
And a seam line.
It's close enough.
Now, this is why it's called, leave your ruler. We're going to show them the correct way, supposedly. Slide.
And hook this.
Go right over so that now you're continuing up here and cut. And match up your seam line.
My seam line looks just like the other one.
So, guys, just to show you on the dark, see at the bottom,
a seam line.
that dotted line
right
should
there.
go on your seam right there.
It's pretty close.
So all of these little sides are numbered, and it tells you in the diagram, cut on line, blah, 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 cut on line. You don't need that. Like when you
hold it there,
when you hold it there, you know what line. You know that if you hold it here to line this side up, that isn't going to work. There's nothing over there to cut, right?
So now I'm going to put this back on here.
So you work
around
clockwise.
this way.
You work clockwise, it says. I don't know if it makes a difference. If you were left-handed and wanted to go the other way, I don't see what difference it would make. Do you?
I don't think so, because it's the same all the way around.
And there she goes. So now she's ironing away.
Am I really going to do this whole block?
I don't know, are you? She's bored already.
So now what do I do?
You always cut on your left-hand side first, away from you over there.
Okay, so I got to put this
over
lined
here,
up.
line up your seam first.
Line up my seam, yep.
Then, okay, so without looking at the numbers on the ruler, see how easy it is to judge which line? Because roughly, you wouldn't, right? So trim the other side. slide your ruler.
Slide my ruler. And come down this side.
And line
my ruler. Line my line up.
Yeah,
I did.
Your edge along your hexagon side. There you go. Okay. So see how simple that is? Simple, simple, simple.
So I want to see some other colors on it, so I'm going to keep going.
Okay, you keep going. I think it would be cute in a hexagon quilt.
I think I'm going to like the way I'm doing it lighter to get darker because it's going to look like a log cabin. Like it's going to have, you know.
Right, so you can make it look more log cabin-y or you can make it look scrappier.
Yeah, so I'm going to go to 2.
So you're lining up your seam down across the bottom. Show them where.
Right here. My seam's right there.
And then what else are you lining up over on this side?
Line number 2.
To line it up with the side of your hexagon down here so that you're on the same angle. Cut across. Slide. Line up your seam allowance and continue your line this way. So see how simple that is?
It is, but I can see that I'm going to waste fabric and need another strip on my last row. Because I probably
just to point that out on your last row, or because the first 2 you'll have plenty of fabric. This could actually start up further, like because you're cutting right along the edge there, right?
Okay. As long as you cover that point, wouldn't it?
No, because look, your angle's coming in.
Okay.
Right?
Gotcha.
Once you got one done, if you wanted to do a quick, like if you were going to do a whole quilt out of this, when I cut my strips, I would strip piece the whole bunch, and I would cut whatever size I think I need for those first rounds. I would cut those so that you're not dragging that great big long strip and just grab off your pile and strip piece.
Yeah. Well, this is pretty easy.
It is easy. There's really nothing to it. Yeah, she may not make do with this one strip on her last one because I think I was trimming a bit closer than that. Simple ruler for grandmother's garden. Yes, it would be, Lorraine. So, Wendy, the only waste there is whatever you're allowing to be cut off. So, depending on once you did a few and you got the feel for how close you can...
I can go a lot closer and have a...
Because look, see what she's trimming off?
I'm wasting.
She doesn't need to be trimming that much.
Okay, I'll put it exactly where you say next time, Twyla.
Well, just take
little waste.
So, when you fold that down, after you trim that, I want you to flip it back down on the hexagon so that you can see.
What do you mean?
So this is the one you just sewed. So you see how it only has to go past up here on the seam because you're cutting that way. You're not cutting this way on it, right?
So let me try it with a skimpier.
So you just barely need to cover both ends, like a quarter of an inch even.
Like that?
Yeah, I think you'd be fine.
Oh. Okay.
Sue says we wake up early. Well, it's really not early here. It's after 9, right? So, Melissa, I don't know if you could change the width of the strip easily because your ruler is cut to the 1.5 inch.
It's nice that line's right there because that keeps you on track. That keeps you straight. What am I doing?
What are you doing? Okay.
Oh, nice that line's there. It shows you what to do.
So see down here on this end, before you cut, when you get on this end, let's show them like when you use less waste. So see, all you need is to cover that end, and that's all the waste you would have. So there'd be very little waste.
Yeah, okay, I see that. That should be all you have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's do another color.
So each row will be 1 inch finished, Melissa. Okay, if anybody wants the ruler, you ladies who are speaking for it, make sure you send us a message or call the shop because we're not going back through to play the video to get a list of names or whatever.
But we have about 10.
Yeah, we do have some.
I brought them in.
Yeah, how much were they? Do you remember? $28, ladies.
Oh, there's been more rulers than that.
I think they'd make sweet seasonal placemats. Like, just think of all the things you could do. Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter. But you're right. That would make a cute front of a bag.
It would.
Very, very cute.
I'm going up really close. I'm wondering if I'm going too close.
No, you're not going too close. Okay. As long as you can see like a 1/4 of an inch past where you start the stitch on your white, you're good. So
I love this new fabric that came in.
See, you didn't go too close.
No,
You've got plenty there to trim.
Plenty, yes.
Yeah, you do.
So that's good because when I get to the longer one.
So guys, don't panic about all those directions on the back that tell you that you cut on line number 3 this time and you cut on line number 2.
Just
you can eyeball
clockwise.
it. You know, if you've got it sticking over too far, it isn't going to work. There's nothing to cut. And if you've got it sticking not far enough, you're going to cut your block, and you wouldn't do that, right? Oh, look, she's getting really stinky now.
I just want to see how off looking, like, wouldn't be right if I didn't make a boo-boo on the show.
Oh, you're not going to make a boo-boo. It's usually me that makes the boo-boos.
Oh, yeah, right.
Is there a size for the Quilted Witch pattern? Nancy, I can tell you that later. It's like a good double, I think. I don't think it's a queen that would drape right to the floor, but it would cover the top of a queen bed for sure with a little bit of overhang, but it would be a good size double.
Isn't that cute?
It's stinking cute.
I think it's cute. I don't want to make it.
Yeah, but you're not a Halloween person, number
one.
At all. Like, have you guys ever noticed, like, Deb doesn't do a lot of Halloween fabric. She never gets excited about anything Halloween.
This year, I do have some nice stuff coming in, though. Thanks to you. I can't remember what it looks like, but I remember ordering it.
Yeah, there was some cute things that you ordered. Yeah. Really cute things. So look at that. Oh, that's going to be a nice block.
It is. Maybe we need to keep going with this and make a quilt. Oh, I like this fabric.
It's very nice. Very nice.
It's really not taking me that long to do a block.
Oh, Nancy, it would be cute in miniature. That would be, like, you could do a wall hanging in miniature. I like that it's a Halloween quilt, but it isn't scary. Like, like sometimes some of the Halloween stuff is really scary, and I think it's a little too over the top. But I know a lot of people like that, but I like it that it's cute. And it's piecework. That one is an applique. So for those of you who don't like to...
you know what I think I might do is buy some of that canned grippy stuff to put on the bottom of this ruler, though. Did you notice that the ruler slips?
Yeah, it does slip.
When you're used to working with a
I find most of those green template rulers are slidey. Yeah. So either those sticky pads or the grippy spray, which we've had really good reviews from customers on the grippy spray.
I know. Everybody loves it.
They say, which is great because it saves money. Like, until your rulers wear out in other ways, you can just coat them with that and make do.
Look, I got 2 rows already.
I know, right? Oh, that is cute.
Isn't that going to be cute?
So, if you did your 5 rows, and if on every other block you did, I'm thinking if you were doing this in a hexie quilt. Yeah. If on every other hexie you did, well, it might be more than every other. I'd have to lay it out because that's... in my head, I'm thinking it might be more than every other. If you only did 4 rows in colors and then finished with your 5th row as a border color background.
Yes.
And then space those in between, you'd have 2 different size hexies with a border in between. That would be cute too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
One hexie would have 5 colors. The next hexie would have 4 colors and a border butting up against the 5 color one. Yeah. So that would be kind of cute.
That would be.
Like, there's a lot of possibilities, guys. You guys need to get this ruler and show us some of your creativity.
We get some creative customers out there, don't we?
We do. Oh, Lynn says the witch could be done in Christmas colors for Christmas. A Christmas witch. So guys, I think we've got around 10 of the rulers. So if we run out, we'll order more. So we can always just put your name down for when they come in.
I think I would like to go around this again with a darker one yet.
Well, you can. I mean, maybe not today while we're trying to get done so you can do your running around you got to do. But yeah, you could. So you can do five rows with that ruler.
So we've only done 3.
Yeah.
This is getting cuter.
It is getting cuter. Maybe that's what you need to do with that fabric.
I know, maybe.
How many bolts of that do you have? Different bolts.
I only have a few bolts, but I've got the jelly rolls, and it would be a waste.
It would be a waste because you'd have to trim an inch off of your jelly roll, right?
Let's see if I can get some more of this fabric.
Well, there's a good chance you might be able to because it's not Moda, right?
Yeah.
That is a nice looking block.
It is.
I like the ombre look.
You know, like going from light to dark, you mean?
Yes. Yes.
Well, I figured we showed 2 different ways the way you did it.
Oh, that is cute. Really, really cute.
I might have to give this ruler to Lloyd and say, finish my blocks.
Is your seam on? Because you look like you're hanging, or is your strip not maybe not the right? Okay.
My seam's on, yeah.
Okay. So one thing, guys, to keep in mind is that when you cut that first hexagon, that there will be sides of that on the bias. But you very quickly have it sewn with something, to hold it. So it would just be that first round probably that you might really
give it a little
yeah.
Gray, if you're concerned.
Yeah.
Oh, I had lots with this board, with this last one that I thought we might not.
As long as you don't put too much waste hanging over the end, you're good. But with your 4th and 5th, you'd have to have two strips of each to get done, I think. Well, you probably would need 2 full strips, but you're going to need the 2nd strip.
Yep.
Okay, that
One
is
strip left.
cute. So they really aren't, considering that you have to stop and iron, and you have to stop and trim every step, it still isn't taking that long, is it?
To make a block.
No. Now, guys, you have to remember this is also Deb making the block.
What do you mean by that?
Well, she's quick.
This is, you can't be...
Kendra Smith says, I think this is the most we've seen the iron used on my block.
Kendra, you're right.
Yep, you're right, Kendra, because that just doesn't happen.
This is against the grain of... Okay, we have a block.
Yes, you do.
How long does that take? That doesn't take...
I don't know, because I don't have my...
That's a quick block.
Haul that orange thing out of there, please.
Oh.
Just so we can show them. So if you only do the 3 rounds like is on that, you don't need the full size of the template. So one thing that we did discover about the template
is there's
if you fold your fabric,
right?
So cut a width of fabric, the width of your widest point.
Let me get a piece just to show.
And if you fold,
if you had this long piece of fabric,
so that would pretend this is width of fabric.
It just keep folding your fabric.
No, you only need 4 folds, right?
Yeah.
So take your width of fabric
and lay your template.
Template on it,
and cut all 4 at once.
And it's going to make 2 that go in
one corner.
Yeah,
and
the other 2 corners, because when you unfold your fabric, you've cut 2 of them on the reverse, which is what you need.
So yeah.
So the other thing to remember is that this is for the full 5.
Yes, so you have to sew this down past a 1/4 inch and then just slice that across the top.
So to be really accurate on your fabric, if you were to take your ruler and just on that tip, mark your 1/4 inch seam, that would tell you exactly where that mark is, where it needs to line up here, so that you've got the correct amount hanging over.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah, just put a little.
Because if you try to judge it, you might be under a little bit, and then
you might lose your point.
You might lose your point when you sew a 1/4 inch seam, like if you're putting lattice on it or sewing it to another block or whatever.
Yeah. Isn't that cool?
Okay. Oh, Laura just arrived at the Irving now. She wasn't.
Oh, cool.
She was just listening while she was driving, not watching.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's that ruler.
So that's that ruler. $28. We have some in stock. Message if you want one, and if we run out, we will order more.
Yes. Let's put that back so we can show. Okay.
So around.
Now we'll turn it around. We're going to give you a sneak peek at the next sew along. So this is kind of for those that don't like complete surprises. We're going to give you a sneak peek.
We won't mention any names.
Stephanie.
I'm sure there's more than Stephanie who doesn't like surprises.
So yes, this is Twyla's design. She sketched it out.
So even though we told you like that this is based on 2.5 inch blocks or whatever, if I were you, I would wait, because this can be totally scrappy, or you could do it planned, however. But during this process, we'll demo a few different ways, because if you don't have a lot of strips in your stash, but you have like leftover layer cakes or little hunks of fabric, like 8 inches square, we'll show you ways to get the most square, that half square triangles out of that shape. We're going to show you a few different methods.
If you don't like making half square triangles, you're probably not going to like this one.
No, you won't, because this is a half square triangle quilt. But it's very good for scrappy.
Yeah.
So
very cute.
It can be a throw. So that's the other thing. If you don't like doing half square triangles, you can make just a throw size to use up some of your scraps. You can do a twin size, or you can do a queen size, depending on how you want to go with it. So if you decide to go twin,
this is what we're doing.
Now, this isn't it totally finished, because we're leaving some parts a surprise.
Yes. Ta-da! So these blocks will be framed with a solid dark color. These in here will be a medium color to kind of go in the background.
To make it fade in the background.
Yeah. The borders here and here will be the mystery. We will not tell you how we're filling it in.
But it will not be solid strips. It is worked with squares, but there's going to be something different going on out there. Yeah. But we're not revealing that yet. So, yes, you need background, because every half of your half square triangle, you need darks and lights, so you need background. But I will tell you that this first border is going to be background scraps, and we're going to do something special with them. And this next border will be your darker scraps to be your last border.
Yeah.
And again, it'll be...
And so we have samples in here, but these blocks are open to whatever half square triangle block you want to make based on the size.
So when you get a bunch made, start laying them out and turning them around, and we'll maybe demo that like on a week, that how you can play with them and get your own designs. This is just an example of what you can do with your half square triangles, right? So if you just want to do excuse the scribbles and whatever, that's a throw size.
And see how she's just kind of sketched a few blocks? There's so many options for half square triangles.
There is.
We're hoping that you guys all come up with different blocks to post, so that we can get everybody's quilt a little bit different.
Yeah. But we are going to keep this part a bit of a secret, but you do need background. Now, we're not going to tell you how much you need, because we're not figuring that out inch by inch.
Yeah.
So just remember, the scrappier you go, the better, because if you start to run out of fabric, when it's scrappy, you can just keep adding fabric, and it doesn't matter, right? You just have to, but you can also go scrappy with a color scheme. So even though we're going scrappy, this first row here of our background is very much in a sort of a zone, like a color zone, but it's still scrappy with different fabrics.
Yeah.
The same as this one. These ones we're going to do, I think, totally scrappy with different colors in every one.
Do you want me to show them the block, the back we're putting there?
The what?
What we're framing ours with?
Yeah.
This is what we've chosen to frame ours with.
So this right here, this solid
we're going to frame all our blocks with this
with that one.
It doesn't have to be the same. You can
totally
do a
scrappy.
black frame, a green frame, a burgundy frame, whatever you want. We've chosen to do a black frame on all of them.
And we also discussed, like, if we're doing dark here, and this is going to be sort of backgroundy fabric here and in these lighter spots here, did we want just paler colors to do these? Because I wanted it to look like it was fading into the background. Or do you just go with a darker neutral than what your background is? So we'll show you what we decided later.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's just to give you an idea, and we will start this the first week after the retreat. Okay.
Next week, we have a different date. Next Wednesday is not going to be going on. It's going to be a Tuesday. It's the Tuesday before, because we have a special guest that's going to come. Should we tell them who our special guest is?
We finally twisted someone's arm.
We have a special guest Wednesday that's going to demo another, it's kind of like it's a notion. It's not really a ruler.
No.
It's not really.
It's kind of a notion.
Yeah, she's going to demo another notion, and Twyla's going to do a demo on another little ruler.
We're going to do something. Yeah, with little rulers and whatever.
Yeah.
So, the only other thing we got left to talk about today is I'm just going to show you
the pretty things.
Well, just a few.
Oh, my soul.
Isn't that stinking cute?
I didn't see it. Let me see.
Well, just wait. So,
oh my gosh, Twyla.
So look at this one. When I was making this, look at the tines on the rake. Aren't those stinking cute? This is the calico sew along, guys.
Oh, what? How did you get those in there? Oh, that's just applique on there.
That's applique.
Oh, that is cute.
So that's bias tape, made with a bias tape maker, right? Like, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, my soul.
But that is cute. So these aren't trimmed down yet because they're being added on. So then this one, you can't, the bottom isn't on yet. Look at this. This is supposed to be hollyhocks. And because this is going to get trimmed, if I didn't iron these, this is going to get trimmed, and there's going to be grass down here, and then these two big leaves.
Oh, my soul.
See my big leaves?
Oh, you're bad.
I didn't do that, guys.
You didn't do that on purpose. That wasn't planned.
That was not planned.
Twyla, her big leaves.
Yep. So those two leaves can only be added once it's sewn to the grass, because you kind of want the leaf to go a little bit down on the grass and a little bit up on that block.
Cool.
Okay, so then these, look at the snail. But he's got to have his antennas embroidered on and a couple little buttons. A slug, not a snail. Slug, snail, something, right?
Laura says behave.
And these are the butterflies that have to have a body added and their little antennas and their buttons added too. But aren't they cute? I just haven't got the bodies on them. I didn't have time last night to finish.
They are really cute.
I ran out of time and steam. But
this is
so now.
This is darn free.
So this one
makes me want to make it.
Oh.
I couldn't do it.
So this one can't be appliqued on yet, but we had to shape the pieces and get them together. Somewhat glued together. So this is our lady.
Isn't she
That's going
cute?
to be holding the watering can.
Isn't that nice to have a design board for
It
something
is,
like this?
it is.
How would you ever do this without a design board?
It would be tricky.
Yeah.
It would be tricky. I think you could do it, but it would be tricky.
I love her apron fabric.
I know, isn't it cool?
Perfect.
So her watering can goes in her hand, which I didn't glue yet, because she's standing next to the hollyhocks and she's watering them. So I want to wait and place that at the right angle.
Are you going to embroider a stream from the watering can?
Really? Did you have to mention that?
Well, you should.
I don't know.
You should.
I really don't enjoy embroidery, guys, and there's a little bit to do. So look at her stockings and her shoes. Aren't those cute? Can you see like where her shoes start down there? Because I've got it hanging over the edge. So she also has, in the other hand, she has a flower that's picked with a stem and a flower. But again, I didn't attach it to her because I want to position it next to the hollyhock so it doesn't go over them.
So her face was not part of Laura Hilt's fabric. That's a grunge,
that's a grunge, and that's what we put in the kit.
That's a perfect face.
It is, and hands.
It's perfect.
It is. Perfect. So just to show you guys a little something, like when I glued this down, I don't always glue right. I don't know where to show you what I'm trying to say.
Right here, maybe?
Right here. So can you see there that this isn't glued, the handle? Because I like to start my stitching in under and stitch.
And
then when you do this stitching,
it's
all hidden and it's sort of holding it down better too, right? Even though like your machine has that anchor stitch. It's just something I do. So I do the same thing here. Like I will probably run up under the hat and start doing her hair in the brown.
And then do the hat. So you do the underneath layers
That's
first.
what I do. Now some people, and if you're hand stitching, it doesn't matter because you're kind of...
You can go up under it.
You can go up under it anyway. But especially when it's a different color, I like to be able to start my thread in under instead of trying to aim it and get it exactly where you want to start there and go. So that's just what I do.
How long did it take you to get her waistband exactly even like that?
Not long.
Oh my soul.
Not long. So the other thing I'm going to show you is if you're worried about... I need your hand. If you're worried about bulk, because...
You're gonna take that ball off.
Well, it's glued now.
Oh.
So it's tacked.
Okay. Ouch.
Oh, sorry. So down in... Oh, I don't know if I can get to it to show you. So see the shape of her arm, how it has this big round ball? That's the shoulder or the puff of her sleeve. So this arm underneath there has that too. So there is an arm with 2 pieces under there, a body with 2 pieces, and then another arm with 2 pieces. So once I laid this on the design board and saw where that bottom one needs to go, before I glued it, I peeled this up and sawed half of this off.
Oh.
Because it's no different than a raw edge on a seam. It's hidden under there as long as you leave your seam allowance.
Yeah.
Right? And then there's less bulk.
Oh, okay.
So just, does that make sense to you? So like, you should be able to see the ball of this sleeve right here, and you can't, because I cut it out.
Okay.
Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. So that's my update.
That is really cute. That's really cute.
Just put this on there, and I'll just dab her. Okay.
Okay, so does anybody have any questions about this?
Did they ask anything while we were jabbering that we didn't answer?
No, nobody asked anything.
Okay.
So, does anybody have any questions about our sew-along that's going to happen after the retreat? The retreat is March 31st, April 1st and 2nd. There's still a couple of openings left. I mean, there is. We're kind of full, but there would be a couple. We could get a couple more in if you want it.
We can.
So if you want to come.
There's always room at the end.
Yes. So other than that, that's it for this Wednesday. Laura, I am on my way in.
Yes, she is.
Okay, talk to you later, everybody.
She's deserting me. Goodbye,
Say
people.
goodbye. Bye.